Welcome to Holistic Kitchen. My name is Ann.
And my name's Abdullah.
We are the Holistic Kids, here to educate and empower us kids from the inside out. We are really going to talk about empowering kids today.
Today, it is our honor to talk with someone who understands what my mom goes through, as she also has 4 kids. We are honored to be joined by Miss Katie Kimball and her kids.
Hi, Zane. Hi, Abdullah. Thanks for having us.
Our pleasure. Miss Katie Kimball, the national voice for Healthy Kids Cooking, is a blogger, former teacher, and mom of 4 kids who founded the Kids Cook Real Food e-course. Her blog, Kitchen Stewardship, helps families stay healthy and connect families around healthy food. And she teaches every child in America how to cook. She is also a TV personality, as we met her on the
Dr. Nandy Show.
Mm-hmm. And Leah, too, you were there.
Welcome, Miss Kimball.
Well, thank you, guys. I just noticed that where I'm standing, it looks like I have a horn on top of my head. So I'm going to move this because I am tired of having a horn on top of my head, if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
Better.
Miss Kimball, we have been helping my mom cook and back in the kitchen since we were very young. So awesome. You are helping to empower kids in America to cook.
Yeah, you guys are great examples of everything I do.
Yeah, can you please tell us how you got into what you are doing now? We would love to hear your story.
Sure thing. Well, I always knew I wanted to be a teacher when I grew up, and that's what happened. But then I only taught for 2 years because this guy came along, and I didn't think that I could do it all, be a good mom and a good teacher. So then I just became a mom. And I still wanted to teach people. So I started teaching people about healthy food through my blog at Kitchen Stewardship. And a lot of people, like moms like me, kept saying, you know, it's really hard to get healthy now as an adult because I was never taught to cook. And I thought, I bet all these moms who were never taught to cook probably aren't teaching their kids to cook because we were still a little bit uncomfortable in the kitchen. So I started thinking about that and how you guys talk a lot about how we want to raise kids who are healthy adults, right? Mm-hmm. And so I thought, well, I'm a teacher, I'm a mom, I kind of know how to teach things. What if I could teach kids to cook and help your whole generation be healthier, since my whole generation kind of was skipped in the kitchen.
Yeah, this is the first generation of kids expected to not outlive their parents. And actually 1 in 3 children will develop diabetes over their lifetime. What do you think about that? Why do you think that is?
That makes me so sad. What we were talking about this. Who had a thought on that? Was it you, Leah? It wasn't you? Was it Paul?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of reasons that kids might develop diabetes, and I think one of the biggest ones is that everybody's doing it. Kids see their friends, everybody's going out to fast food and even at school lunch, when especially at my age, you can buy chips and junk food in the cafeteria, and if everybody is seeing their friends doing that, it just becomes normal, and junk food just becomes a thing that everybody does.
Mm-hmm. And we were practicing these questions, and so I have 2 more kids. Obviously, we just couldn't fit us all in the camera. And our littlest, he's 5, and his name is Gabe, and he's trying to call out his answers, which was pretty funny because sometimes he was way off. But on this one, he goes, "It's probably tablets too." And I said, yeah, kids are probably sitting around maybe more than they used to. I said, you're probably onto something there, little guy.
Yeah, why is healthy eating so difficult for kids? Yeah,
Mm-hmm. You run into some tough stuff, Leah, being dairy sensitive in school, huh?
Mm-hmm.
What's it like when everyone is eating something that you can't eat?
At first it was really difficult to be missing out on it, but I've gotten a little more used to it, but it's still difficult, And even with eating healthy when I'm packing lunch, it's not the easiest with other people around me eating junk food and seeing my food and how it looks different and how I stand out.
Yeah, they actually say things to you sometimes, huh? Kids can be so mean. That's not cool. So it's hard to be different, and when everybody's doing one thing, it can be really hard to kind of do the opposite, even when you know up here that it's right.
Yeah, why is everyone so addicted to this sugar? Like all the kids nowadays are all addicted to sugar.
I think that's true. I get to take this one. The kids are like, that's beyond our pay grade, Mom. Although, of course, Gabe, 5 years old, he's like, because it tastes good. I'm like, that's like really literally exactly right? Like our bodies are made to like the taste of sugar because it used to be really, really rare. You know, if you came across a patch of berries, you like needed to eat all those berries to get all that energy because you might not see another patch of berries for a week, right? But now there's like candy and liquid sugar, you know, soda pop and all this stuff and ice cream, and just there's too much. And so, you know, but our bodies haven't changed. Our tongues still think it tastes awesome, but the rest of our body's going, whoa, hold on. This is too much. We don't know what to do with this. And that's, you know, where all that disease comes in. But yeah, we know that it, you know, circuits in your brain to make you want more.
Yeah, what do you do to avoid sugar, especially that when it's everywhere?
I've kind of trained my body to not, I just think it's too sweet. And I just have to think about the impact that I'll feel better later on.
That's good. Yeah, you just like, you don't even really like candy so much anymore, huh?
Mm-mm.
No, I'm not really like Leah. I still like sugar, but I'm definitely still aware of it. Like if we have, say, like used to be, you'd bring in a treat for your birthday. I would still eat those, even though Leah might not. But I'm just aware of how what it does to my body, and I try to, you know, keep it down low. If I don't have to eat it, like at home, then I don't have it all the time.
Yeah, I would say, what's your like favorite after dinner snack? Because now that he's a teenager, he's staying up a little later, and he's always taking all of our
Fruit, frozen fruit.
Frozen fruit.
Yeah, I have fruit like pretty much every day after dinner, and I think it's a great alternative to like a piece of candy because it has natural sugar and fiber that keeps you. Yeah, it helps the sugar not explode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we love fruits also, right, Jen?
Yeah. My mom finds sweets with honey.
Yeah, we use honey for a substitute for sugar. There are many more, but honey, we just really like honey because it has that same sweetness that you can find in sugar, but it's more healthy for you.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, we like to get these 3 ingredients mints from Trader Joe's with only 3 ingredients.
Yeah, we love fruit. Fruit also.
And Leah, you make a lot of your own. Like when you want a treat, you tend to make it yourself, and then you can use those natural sweeteners and less, you know, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that brings up to this point. Why do you think that it's important for kids to learn to cook?
Want to start, Leah?
Well, it's fun, and then you get to know what you're making and kind of make your own decisions a little bit.
And what do you always say, Paul?
I mean, Leah brings up a great point. Like you get to choose what you want to eat. And I mentioned earlier, like, sorry, you.
Okay, you get to choose what you want to eat. Well, if you're cooking, you know you're gonna like it because you're making it, and you get to choose it. A lot of kids don't get those choices.
No.
So, makes a lot of sense.
And it's also important for your future, like when you're in college and stuff, that you know how to cook and you can choose to eat healthier food so that you don't have diabetes when you're older.
How can kids take charge of their cooking and their meals?
Leah's been doing a lot of that this summer.
Yeah, I've just been looking up recipes online and then asking them if I can make them and making them.
she'll come up to me and say, is anything planned for breakfast tomorrow? And I know what's coming. So I'm like, nope, nothing's planned. And then what do you say?
Then can I make something?
Yeah, she's like, I got a recipe for pancakes I want to try, or I got a recipe for this I want to try. And then what about your first cake?
Yeah, I had never made a homemade cake before, and so I looked online and I found a gluten-free and dairy-free cake, and it took me probably a little longer than it should have because it was my first cake, and I made homemade frosting, and I was super excited to use the piping bag thing.
Yeah.
And then all my frosting melted, so there was just like blobs instead of flowers.
So that was disappointing.
But it still tasted really good, even though cake is typically too sweet for me.
Yeah, usually if people serve like a birthday cake, Leah's like, yeah, no thanks, because it's too sweet. But it was nice because you had like a nice proper low level of sweetness. It was a very good cake.
So what are your favorite things to cook?
I always say Margarita Pizza. In my cookbook, actually, that I got to write with some friends, it's my favorite recipe, and it was one of the later additions to the book. But I was really inspired by an interview that my mom had done with a chef who taught how to make Margarita Pizza, and it looked so good, and I really wanted to try it. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to put this in a cookbook and be able to make up my own recipe and, customize it how I want to. And it's just so good. And me and Leah, we actually make dinner every week together. And a lot of times recently it's been Margarita Pizza just because it's such a good recipe and the whole family loves it.
And doesn't it feel kind of good, like when you make a recipe a lot, you get you like know it, you get used to it, and so you're really comfortable with it?
Yeah.
I think that. I always think it's nice to have some little comfortable recipes.
That's awesome.
All right, so then what can we do to start taking care of our food today?
For kids to take charge of their food. Oh, is this your one? This was the one tip. Did you think of this one? Or is that me? Oh, you said if you're old enough to do knife skills, right?
Oh, yeah. So I think if you're at an age where you can do knife skills, the best thing to do to start is learn to cut vegetables, like fresh carrots and cucumbers, and all the vegetables that you might eat with the dinner. Because if you can learn to cut them, I think you'll learn to like them. And liking vegetables is certainly the first step in learning how to eat healthy.
Nice.
What is the youngest age to use a knife?
I always tell people 2 or 18 months old if they're very mature, and most adults go, what? But we're talking, a butter knife. Like, we like to start out our kids with a butter knife and a banana, and we have a cheese slicer. It's really dull. It looks like a machete, so it scares people when they see the pictures, but it's a great, short handle, nice dull cheese knife. And so we get our little tiniest ones cutting really soft foods so that they're used to being in the kitchen.
When school starts up, what are your favorite healthy lunch and snacks?
We got John here, age 8. He thought he would talk about lunches, right? Like, what do you normally pack for lunch, John? And project that way.
I normally try to pack whatever healthy food that I can find, like meat stick or homemade yogurt, cheese.
And a lot of times we pack lunches right after dinner. Why do we do that?
So you do not have to pack them in the morning.
Okay, true. But also everything's out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what do we put in lunch a lot that you don't see in other kids' lunches?
Leftovers.
Yeah, we eat leftovers cold, right? No big deal. No big deal. Good stuff. Do you guys have anything to add on lunches?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I forgot to grab. We use those bento boxes, and it's just like, all right, well, what goes in this box, little hole, and what goes in this little slot, and trying to balance getting some veggies in, some fruits, some meats, and enough to keep you full, right? But they pack their own because then they know how much they'll eat and what they like. Because I don't like it when the food comes home uneaten.
Yeah, I love to put in like I used to make the lunches, or then I used to put in. We used to do vegetables. I used to like to put carrots in them, and then we would do the healthy fats like nuts or olives or avocado, and then we do like sometimes I like to sneak in one of those like a treat with honey, like those mints that I talked about earlier, and we put in the protein, and so we put in like maybe like leftover fish if we have any from dinner, and then like more some meats or more nuts and seeds sometimes. So
Yeah, Abdullah talks about what he does for lunch a lot of times.
That was a good lesson for me because I don't ask my kids enough, do you have a healthy fat in your lunch? So thank you, Abdullah. That was a really good, like, that's good for Mrs. Kimball's brain to be like, oh yeah, the healthy fat. That's important.
yeah.
Thanks, Jen.
How do you guys deal with food at school?
I don't have to go anymore. It's got to be one of you guys.
So like I said earlier, it's not that easy. Especially with like just eating different. I've kind of gotten used to it, but it's still more difficult. And even before I was dairy free, I didn't really eat the other treats that were being served.
Like birthday treats and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I know some days you would come home and you'd be kind of down because there were birthday treats and you didn't like them or you couldn't eat them. You chose not to, but then you felt a little left out, huh? So for a while we were packing like a backup in your backpack. What kind of stuff would you take as like, okay, they're having Krispy Kreme. What can I have?
We had these like little packets of like dairy free chocolate chips or like popcorn or something fun and special like that.
To take the place. How about you, Paul?
Well, so all of my friends know me as like the healthy lunch guy because I always bring like the metal box with all the food in it, and sometimes it looks like really weird if it's like sometimes we have like black rice, and so if we have like a bean and rice meal or something, it just looks like poop, and that's what they call it, and it's just for Leah it's a lot harder because people might not say the nicest thing, but my friends are all used to it, and it's just fun. But also my friends give me their like extra apples or carrots. Like sometimes you have to get in the hot lunch line like one fruit or veggie, and so they take it, and if they don't want it, they just give it to me, and they just know that I'll eat it because I'm the healthy guy.
Yeah, it was like our refrigerator was growing carrots and apples. Like every day I'd open the produce drawer and there's more little like single bags of carrots and apples. I'm like, where are these coming from? It's his friends.
Yeah, it doesn't bother. Our friends are also used to it. I went to middle school this year, and people were like, I was like, what happened? And they're looking at my food, and like, oh, yeah, new kids.
Because they weren't used to seeing the healthy food. Yeah.
And our friends are used to it also.
Yeah, Zen's friends are also used to it. So my mom talks about your cookbook all the time. She motivates us now also because she's also working on another one too. Would love to hear all about your cookbook that you worked on. We would love to create one too.
Yeah.
That's ugly right there. I'll hold it. You talk.
So all of us authors, there were 5 authors, and we all live in different states. One even lives in Canada. And all of our parents have online businesses, and they work online. So all of our families got together, and so that our parents could help each other with their businesses, and the kids just got to hang out. So we got to know each other. You know, we became great friends. And one day, we decided that we were going to make breakfast for the adults, and so we made breakfast. And one of the adults was like, "Hey, you guys should write a cookbook." And we were like, "Yeah, right, write a cookbook. That's funny." And then one of the adults had actually written multiple cookbooks published before, and so she got us a book deal with a publisher. And so we went home from this gathering thinking not really much more about the cookbook, and then suddenly you guys have a book deal. And we were like, whoa, we have to write a cookbook. And so we had to write it, and we had this deadline for the end of the summer. It was the start of the summer, and we had a deadline for the end of the summer. And the deadline passed, and it kept going. And so we weren't able to write it in that summer because it just took so long, and we weren't sure how to write a cookbook. So it took so long. It actually took a span of 4 years. But then this May, it finally got published, and it was super awesome. You know, you get to see your book on Amazon and hold it in your hands, published, and it's like in Barnes and Noble and a bunch of bookstores, and it's so cool to be able to see that.
Wow, that is such an inspiring story. Miss Kimball, your favorite memories from when you were a kid?
Yeah, what are your favorite memories?
Oh, so I've just been thinking about, like, did I ever cook when I was a kid? And I used to bake a little bit, and but I would get super into it. Just like Leah, I would do the big cakes and cookies, and they didn't usually taste very good because I didn't know what I was doing. But my favorite, my signature recipe that I made up, I called it tuna tacos. So it was a big old leaf of iceberg lettuce, and then tuna salad that my mom had probably made. I didn't even open the can of tuna, which is funny. And a big old squirt of ketchup and crushed Ruffles potato chips on top, and wrap that up. And yeah, I don't think I'd like that quite anymore, because I would put mustard on it instead of ketchup. But I'd like to take credit for inventing the lettuce wrap, actually, because that was way before grain-free paleo keto was cool. And I kind of invented the lettuce wrap, but it was weird.
So then, where did you learn? Where do you think kids our age can start to learn to cook?
As soon as they can. There's so many different levels of cooking, and you can start when you're really young. Like my mom said, you can start when you're 2. You can start when you're 18 months.
Do you think that they should use Kids Cook Real Food? Can we help them out?
That's a yes, by the way.
Yes.
Yes.
we will help kids out if their parents don't quite know where to get started, right? Because we teach the little kids, the medium-sized kids, and the big kids with our videos.
So Jacob, to people that make fun of you for a boy that cooks, what do you have to say?
Does that ever happen?
No. I don't think that most people I don't just go around telling people that I cook. I guess my friends don't even really know. I mean, they know I have a cookbook, but I'm not even sure that it's a topic that ever comes up. Because you can see my lunches, but I don't normally cook my own food for my lunches. I use leftovers, which I might have cooked, but that just never comes up. So I've never get picked on. But
I think most of the time, and adults are usually just impressed with any kid that cooks, regardless of boys or girls. We kind of live in a society where we're getting to be more, it's pretty more even. Plus, a lot of chefs are men.
That's awesome. We boys need to be in the kitchen.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was so empowering. Everyone, please check out Miss Kimball's free gift, 10-minute knife skills class. The link is below. And make sure to follow Miss Kimball and her family on social media. And she has so many amazing courses that can empower kids in the kitchen that everyone should check out. Thank you again, Miss Kimball and her crew for working so hard to keep our families empowered. So we as kids need to do our part in our homes today. Time to get to the kitchen.
Thank you so much, Miss Kimball, Leah, and Jacob. Any last points?
Well, you guys are so welcome. We were glad to be here. Any last points? I mean, I agree with you guys that all kids, boys and girls, should get in the kitchen, really young. And even though it's hard for parents sometimes to slow down, it's really, really worth it and important. And I get a night off dinner every week. So that's pretty cool. Plus, I think, you know what, the last couple of weeks, we've been like, if we were rushing off to go somewhere, we're trying to go take a picnic to the beach or whatever. It's like, all right, everybody grab something they can do, and it just gets done faster, and then we get more time at the beach. So that helps everybody.
Okay, to recap Miss Kimball's key points. Number 1, fake foods that are all on the kids menu and all the sugar that are leading to sickness and disease. Then they are literally being injected into most kids' veins. So now number 2, time for kids to take charge of their health, and that starts in the kitchen. And number 3, kids need to help their caregivers in the kitchen, and parents need to involve the kids as they make their meals.
Number 4, get creative in the kitchen, trying to experiment with different real food colors from veggie, fruit, healthy fat, and even the clean protein in the kitchen. What you can create is endless.
Number 5, the power you feel when you can cook anything you want to make and eat without waiting for your mother or parents to do it is priceless, and it's so much fun. Time to get started today with Miss Kimball's one-of-a-kind cooking classes.
You can make your own cookbook. That was so inspirational, Jacob. We love to cook and create, so you will love it too. And this summer, when camps are closed, we love to come up with so many different creations. So much fun. So get started today. We are here. We are here to help you. You got this. Until next time, I'm Zain Ansari.
And I'm Abdullah.
Follow my family on social media, Holistic Mom, ND. And look out for my mom's cookbook, The Holistic RX, your guide to healing chronic inflammation and disease.
She's getting another cookbook.
Yeah. And the amazing children's book we wrote together coming out this year, Adam's Healing Adventures. So exciting. Join us next week for another episode of the Holistic Kids Show, where kids are empowering kids. Together we can keep our future struggles, but you got this. We are here for you. Real healing for real life. Thank you, Miss Kimball, Jacob, and Leah. Bye.
Bye, guys. You're welcome.